Hi there. I'm your host, Corinne, and this is Okay, But Are You Good? Where we check in on ourselves on a weekly basis to see how we doing. Are we killing it out here, or we're just barely getting by? Man, I tell you, it's a day-to-day thing, and lately I've been feeling like my mind can't catch up with my body. I've been waking up at like 4 a.m. because I've been so anxious. But that's okay. We're working on it. Anyways, this week's episode is for all those people that are so exhausted being the go-to person for everyone in their lives. And this really hits close to home. So I want to dive into it. I feel like this starts from wanting to feel important, wanting to be reliable, wanting to be looked at as like the good kid, the good friend, the good student, whatever role you play in someone else's life, you want to be the one that they go to. So you're going to go out of your way and always say yes to the things that people need help with. But over time, this kind of resentment builds up. And then you get so tired because when you need other people, they end up not being there for you. But you're the one who put yourself in this position in the first place. So how do we keep moving forward to take care of our own stuff, but also still be there for other people? I'm still trying to figure that out. And I think for me, I like being the go-to person because it kind of goes back into that fear that if you're not needed, you're forgotten. So even when I'm busy and I don't have time, I'm still going to run that errand for you. I'm still going to cover a shift. I'm going to do whatever because I want you to look at me in the best light. And I don't want to get forgotten. I feel like when I was younger, and it still is to this day, my love language is gift giving. And it kind of was like, oh, if I do this or I give them this, like they won't be upset anymore. They'll really like me, And it kind of shifted into when I became older. It's like, oh, I'm always going to say yes. I'm going to be reliable. I'm going to be the good kid, the good worker, like everything. Because I only ever want people to see me as reliable. Because if they don't see you as this good, quote unquote, person, then you're failing. And that's not true, but it's hard to switch it off. You can't really sway from it because people have this expectation of you now. And then when you say no to people, like you set a boundary, they get really upset and they guilt trip you or they get mad at you. So sometimes it's just easier to say, yes, I'll do this. I'll cancel my plans. I'll show up for you. Because you matter to me, but no one else's life is more important than yours. Obviously, there's circumstances where things are out of their control and your control. Especially with like people in my life, I just feel like there's always stuff going on. It's never cool, calm, and collected. It's like a storm that keeps coming and going. It's a little bit ridiculous, but that's life. It just keeps moving. And if you're not moving with it, you get left behind. I was recently with one of my friends, and they are also the go-to person in their life. And it's funny because we're both the youngest sibling. And usually I feel like go-to people are the older siblings. I have a big family, so there's a lot of us are go-to peeps. But I think in like smaller families where it's just like 2 kids, it's very obvious like who's the go-to and who isn't. And usually that role falls into the older sibling. But for some reason, us 2 youngsters, our parents just like really reach out for a lot of help. Our friends reach out for help. And it's awesome because we both love helping people. But there's times we have like similar stories where when we've needed help, people can't just do a simple thing like pick up something from the grocery store, give someone a ride. It's like we asked for $1 million. And that's where like resentment starts to build up over time and you start getting angry yourself because you do so much for other people. Why can't they do the same back for you? That's just had me learn that I can't ask certain people for help. Like, and I think that's where it ends up. I just end up doing it all myself because it's just easier, because I know I'm reliable and I know I'm going to get the job done. So I might as well do it. But life changes, life comes at you fast, and you are going to have to set those boundaries like I've talked about. Because if you don't say how you're feeling, it's never going to change. I know it's scary because you don't know how someone's going to react. Hopefully, like, maybe one day we will see into the future, or we'll know how to predict how someone's going to react. I feel like that's a Black Mirror episode or something. And that series is really scary because I'm sure eventually some of it will become true or not. I guess we'll have to see. But with boundaries, people will guilt trip you. You're the go-to person. Why wouldn't they? You're reliable. Why are you turning them down? Because what if it all works out, and what if it's fine and no one actually gets mad at you because you can't show up for once? And that doesn't mean you're not still the go-to person. That just means you're stretched way too thin, which most of us are. And over time, it's going to get easier to say no to people and make it clear what your schedule is during the week. I feel like that's why my head's been spinning lately, because there's just so much, and I'm trying to like stay focused on whatever task I have. Like when I'm at work, I'm locked in. And then after work, it's like a little roller coaster. So people need to know when you're available and respect that, because you're not always going to be able to show up for everyone, because who's showing up for you? With my friends, I'm very reliable. I'm very loyal. I will do anything for them, but there's consequences with that. And what I mean by that is expectations. I think I hold a lot of people to the same standard that I would, but not a lot of people are just going to drop everything, get on a flight, and show up to whatever birthday party. Financially, that's probably not realistic. In time, it's not realistic. But there's a few people that I've learned over the years that they just will never show up the same way I show up for them. And I'm their go-to person, but they're not mine. And that's okay. You can't fault other people for that. And I think that goes back into, you can't fault others for expecting so much because you've set that bar. But I still feel like people need to show up for you, especially when you're showing up for them all the time. Like, I can only do so much, but it's taken time to realize, like, it's a little lonely being the go-to person and understanding that not everyone can meet me at my level. And friends can only do so much. Everyone else has their lives. I think I've learned that as I've gotten older. If you tell like 18-year-old Corinne that, she'd be like, what? No, little Timmy should be at my party. I don't care what he has going on. I showed up to his party. And now it's just like, people can only do so much. Just because you're the go-to, just because you're showing up, doesn't mean you have to fault other people. You just have to change your expectations and take a step back, and you find other people that are your go-to persons that will show up. I know which friends are going to show up, drop everything if I need it, because I would 100% do the same thing for them. And it's so funny. I am 100% this way because of my mother. She is for sure the go-to person in my family. She's the glue. She goes out of her way for everyone. So I think I just like followed in her steps, because both my parents actually show up. Funeral, wedding, birthday party, whatever you need, smaller things as well. They're always showing up. So it's hard to like break that habit when this is all you know. But the downside, though, really, of being the go-to person is you get burnt out, and they get burnt out all the time, because life is exhausting and we constantly have to keep showing up the next day because we don't have any other choice, right? And I feel like when I'm burnt out, I just don't text back. It's too much. Or I just like take a nap just to like avoid any responsibilities, because I need a break. And the only way I'll say no is if I'm asleep. So, but then I end up getting like upset with myself because I wasn't showing up. And then It's the spiraling thoughts of this person is going to be upset with me. They're never going to ask me to do anything because like I love helping people so much. And, you know, you get that fear like, are these people not going to be around anymore because I'm not going above and beyond for them? That really isn't the case ever. But if it is the case that just because you said no for the first time to help them out and they stop showing up in your life, you probably don't need them anymore because that's ridiculous. I am one person. I'm not Superwoman, Superman, super anything. I'm just me and I'm doing my best and I'm showing up and helping. Even when I'm tired, I'm helping. Doesn't mean I'm exhausted, but I feel like as a go-to person, you have to remind yourself it's okay to say no. It's okay to set a boundary. It's okay to take a break from being the yes person in other people's lives because you need people to show up for you as well. And I think that's why it's important to have really good loved ones in your life, whether that's your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, whoever it may be. You need to have a good community of people you can lean on because when you get burnt out, you're going to need to lean on someone else to help you run whatever errand you can't, help do whatever random task because they know that you would. So you need to make sure you build a really good community to help you. I think if I didn't have a good community, I'd be so lost. I'd still be like spiraling of like, I have to do everything for everyone else. I have to be the go-to person. And because I have a good community, like it's worked out, but I haven't stopped being the go-to person for other people. And I don't think it will. I just think as I've gotten older and in the last few years of moving back, I've really just been like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm back now, so I can help with a way more stuff that I wasn't while I was in San Francisco. So sometimes I am making up for lost time. I guess that goes with the guilt of like not doing things. But I love feeling needed, you know? And so I guess I'm still working on it myself of saying no to things and telling myself that these people are still going to love me even if I'm not showing up. It's reminding yourself that people are still going to love you even if you can't be the most reliable person in their life 24/7. Because you're human, because you have your own positives and negatives going on. As I've always said, like, there's always something on that to-do list that we have to check off, and we add more things and take them off every single day. So you need to start reaching out to other people to help you and find your own go-to people. And don't just put all the pressure on one person. Help set your own expectations of what you need and what you need help with. And don't make yourself feel bad if you can't show up constantly. Because no matter what, they're going to love you. That's why you're the go-to person. That's why you're so reliable. You're so needed. So join me in trying to say no to more things, set boundaries, not being the go-to person 24/7. And hopefully we can figure it out together and still like be happy and living our best lives. Thank you so much for listening in. I can't wait to talk to you guys all next week. And make sure to ask yourself, okay, but are you good? And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all next week.